Day. Welcome in, everybody. Great to be with you. Tallahassee GameDay live on the air here on 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV. Thanks to all of you watching on Warchant TV. Make sure you remember to like, subscribe, all that good stuff, so you get the latest from all of us as game days are busy. You know, we got this pregame show, which we enjoy doing here, obviously. Postgame show as well. Tom Lang will join you with Gene Williams to look back at the game that was. Post-game call-in show. You guys get to vent and or celebrate together. Don't forget that. And then, of course, all the game day coverage from our entire staff at warchant.com, keeping you up to date. We'll be watching very closely as warm-ups take place today because the flu has swept into Tallahassee and kind of ravaged the campus and thereabouts, and that includes this football team. Before we get going, pregame, postgame, or no game at all, anytime is the right time for Zaxby's Platters. Your team of 12 to 14 with your choice of traditional or buffalo fingers, boneless or traditional wings as well. If you're having trouble deciding, get the best of both worlds with the sampler platter. We always do before we get underway here on Tallahassee Game Day. Delicious. I always eat too much because you can't help yourself. Don't forget that world-famous sauce. Satisfy your chicken craving today with Zaxby's Platters. Order online or through the app. Tallahassee Zaxby's, a proud Seminole booster for over 15 years. Yeah, Tom, that's the top story. And that's brought to you by Barano Heating and Air Conditioning, longtime trusted partner of the Jeff Cameron Show. Turn to the experts at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning for all your cooling and heating needs this fall. Head to baranoac.com or call 850-580-4029. The lead story being that we don't know who's going to play today. It's, you could look at two stories. You could look at the fact that the team has had a lot of guys go down this week with the flu. Now, obviously, they got hit with IVs, and we hope that they're hydrated and able to go, but it does affect your preparation, and that is frustrating, obviously, but there's nothing you can do about that. You have to try to prepare the best you can. The other top story, I think, if we're going to throw that in there, is the fact that Chubba Purdy decided to hit the transfer portal this week. He announced that on Tuesday. I think the timing is odd because, to be honest with you, this would have been a game, Tom, that he would have had a chance to play in. I don't know if he would have started. The word is that, in all likelihood, McKenzie Milton would start if Jordan Travis can't give it a go. But I got to guess that they would have had some packages set up for Chubba Purdy, or he would have had to have been on the ready because we've seen McKenzie Milton try to give it a go, and his body's betrayed him a couple times. So I find the timing odd. I think that this is the culmination of a lot of frustration for him. Excuse me. Voice is not cooperating this morning. I think that, you go all the way back to when he first got here and he got hurt and they had to put the screw in there with the collarbone. Something didn't go well with that surgery, and that's unfortunate. We do know that complications happen. It's not always somebody's fault, but complications occurred and they had to go back in. That's never good. And that seriously stunted his growth. I know mentally it was tough for him to adjust, and we know this because he said so. I didn't just snatch that out of thin air. And he left. He left the program for a while to both rehab and to get mentally, I guess, righted, if you will, and to find some clarity. And it looked like at the time that maybe he had found it when he came back to Florida State. I think we were all kind of stunned, to be honest with you guys, that he came back to the school. I think, generally speaking, when somebody rides out both out of frustration and also to, mentally try to find balance, it's kind of rare that they come back to the program from whence they left. And so when he did, I thought, well, maybe they cleared that hurdle. He'd make his way back in. But I don't know that everything ever got right with him and his time here at Florida State. So we wish him well. Why do I bring that up? Well, it was the news of the week, but also it affects the depth chart because, in essence, without him, you have three scholarship quarterbacks, one of whom has shown that at times really can't get out there because of his body and that vicious injury that McKenzie Milton suffered a few years back. And, that's precarious, that situation. If for some reason today Jordan Travis can't go, you're kind of in a tough spot. I don't want to fail to mention Tate Rodemaker is still on the roster and is a kid that practices every day and is doing his best to try to come along, but progress has been slow there. So now that opens the door, I suppose. Certainly we know A.J. Duffy will be coming in. That is the other news of the week. It's been a busy week. A.J. Duffy withdrawing from IMG early with 2 games to go. He had a dislocated finger and decided, you know what? I'm good. I've done what I came here to do. I'm going to go ahead and sit out the rest of the way and finish up my requirements in school. And I'm going to enroll early at Florida State. So that's good news, actually, that you're going to get him. In fact, it was a good week for news involving this next recruiting class. You seem to have some more affirmation that a lot of these guys are rock solid right now as to their commitments to Florida State. So, you look at that and everybody holds their breath, because in addition to having to flip the culture, Mike Norvell and this staff have got to do a good job of flipping the roster, and they've got to infuse it with much more talent than currently sits at Florida State. And this class is a consensus top 10 class, and it would do that immediately at a lot of key positions, quarterback being one of them. But there's linebackers here, there are wide receivers here, offensive linemen here. This is a class that if you get these kids to say yes and sign on the line, which is dotted, Florida State will be in good shape moving forward, we think, with an influx of talent.
Well, it's one thing that we've seen from this team that's actually here this season is when they're on the brink of having every excuse in the world to quit, they don't. And that was halftime of the Louisville game. And since then, they've gotten better. I mean, they were better already, even when they were 0-4 versus last year's team. That's hard to argue when you are 0-4, but you could see it. The process, the way things were being built. These kids were buying in. And then they're pushed to the brink, and you're wondering, okay, all of that goodwill and trust that you built up, have you wasted it all? Have you completely blown it? And the kids still stayed bought in. That's the team here. The recruiting class for next year appears to be bought in. And what's interesting for us in Tallahassee, most other big-time college markets and even the mediocre ones that have continuity in their coaching staffs, they've had the opportunity to enjoy early signing day. We have not. It has been transition or pandemic since the early signing period has begun in college football.
Yeah.
So December for us is going to mean more than it has in ever. Because the last time we've had a typical signing day, it was still in February. So that's what's coming up in the next month for Florida State. And when you look at the quarterback picture, Chubba Purdy's departure, to me, signals that we're going hunting in the transfer portal for somebody who can play right now. And whether or not that's at a high level, I don't know. But you need a steadying force to be the bridge between what you have now in Jordan Travis and what you have in the future in A.J. Duffy. That A.J. Duffy is going to be a springtime enrollee, make spring football, or a winter enrollee, make spring football all the more interesting. But I think what you're seeing here is potentially a seismic shift in that quarterback room from where we are right now to the first time we do Tallahassee GameDay next year for the big Duquesne game ahead of FSU and LSU. Because if you're going into the transfer portal again, which I think they are, some people reporting that they're not, but I don't know. Maybe just to make sure they get Duffy in the fold and then they go hunting. But if they do, and they get a piece that would fit what this offense is trying to do when it's operating with the playbook wide open.
Kid like Max Johnson, for example.
Well, sure. Yeah. I was wondering when. I was like 3-2. So you bring in somebody who can run multiple facets of what Mike Norvell wants to do. That makes the spring competition really interesting, because if that kid wins, then is Jordan Travis still our starting quarterback? As for today, it's a throwback to 2020. It's a throwback to the COVID year where you're going to be watching warmups. Those guys that are, intrepid reporters for us at warchant.com. Ira's going to be working the binoculars hardcore.
Who's in, who's out?
Who's in, who's out. That's what I can recommend the most. I put out the props piece this morning on warchant.com, the Sporting Noles. Man, it's hard to pick because I just don't know who's going to be available. Like, let's say one of the numbers was Jordan Travis rushing yards. Okay, let's say he plays. The last 2 times NC State has faced a quarterback that's a dual threat, they've gone way over the number that's in this particular prop. But even if Jordan plays, are all 5 offensive linemen available? You've got to play this game out, and that's the unfortunate thing is not until 2:30, 3 o'clock today are we going to know what this roster right here, right now looks like.
Yeah, Malik Cunningham went over 70 yards rushing against this NC State defense, and I found that buoying. I was encouraged greatly by that number because that's kind of who we are. I mean, we obviously need Jordan to be able to run the ball, and they couldn't do it last week against Clemson, and I think we kind of were hoping against hope last week going into that Clemson game that somehow they would be able to get him to run the football, but you really never could block Clemson in any way, shape, or form. So the game was over before it started, and yet Florida State was in it with a chance to win it and had the lead with under 5 to play. It's a testament to how tough they are. It's a testament to how hard they play. It's a testament to Clemson's problems, but it's a testament to this defense as well. So they hung in there, especially in that second half.
In the alternate universe in which this campus is not wrought with the flu, right? If they had just come back from Clemson, you'd say, all right, mend your wounds from a very physical game, a disappointing game. We don't think they're going to be quitting on the coaching staff.
No.
Clearly, they've proven that they're tougher than that. But physically, are they ready to go? Like, the flu adds to that. But I would be thinking today in that alternate universe, well, Dylan Gibbons is probably going to be in much better shape this week than he was last week. He didn't get to practice at all before the Clemson game. So I'd feel like left guard is better. Maybe Bavion Johnson rolls out there a little bit more often this weekend. But again, when you're trying to break down this game player for player, it's easier to do so from the NC State standpoint because they're not on a campus that has a flu bug going around. So you know what players are going to be involved in their fold on both sides of the football. For FSU, it's just, we'll see.
Yeah, it makes it very difficult to gauge what we see on the field today in terms of we know they'll give effort. I mean, that we're past that.
Yeah. Even for the kids that are out there, you question. Yeah.
Yeah. You just, you know, it's frustrating because you could win this game. NC State, and maybe they will. I shouldn't, remove any hope here because we don't know of which kids that we're questioning are going to play and which ones aren't. If they're a full go, Florida State could win this game. NC State has not been nearly the team on the road as they are at home. And when you look at Florida State's defense and you're able to perhaps make this NC State team pretty one-dimensional, you could win the game. You just have to hope that they're healthy enough to go win the game because I know the effort will be there. So, it starts at quarterback, though, Tom. And if you don't have Jordan Travis, I don't see a path to victory because Florida State simply cannot be a drop-back passing team. They've not had the ability to do that. And that's largely because they're not exceptional blockers. They've become a slightly below average offensive line. Coach Atkins does a very good job of finding ways to win. I'm talking about winning plays, winning quarters, and moving the football because of the angles that he creates within this offense. He gives his offensive line a chance to kind of overcome some of their physical deficiencies. But they're not great in pass protection. And that's one element of why you can't drop back and pass it. The other is that your quarterback's not real good at the vertical game. And then third, and perhaps most devastatingly so, your receivers haven't been any good at all. So that makes it difficult to win in any other manner than the manner they won in which they won 3 games in a row. And that is to run the ball to the tune of 200-plus yards every week and do something that is, something we haven't seen since the mid-'90s around here, which is really remarkable when we were doing that, when Florida State was able to do that. But you also know that you're going to face some teams that can take it away. I'm not sure NC State can. They've lost 2 critical pieces at linebacker. Cyrus Fagan is out at safety. The second half of the season has seen this NC State defense go from being an upper echelon defense in the league, upper echelon defense in the country at one point, to a middling to poor defense at times. So if you're healthy, maybe you can. Maybe you can spark back up that run game, and that gives you all the hope in the world to win this game.
Yeah, just in watching what NC State gives up in the run game, it's different than Clemson. So one thing, and I'll put this to bed finally, but one thing I was disappointed with last week is I thought you could maybe outflank Clemson a little bit. To run right at them is just, even though that's what we do, man, that was never going to work, especially when you've got 2, interior offensive linemen who basically don't practice. Like, what are you thinking there? In the case of today, when you see NC State give up chunk plays, a lot of times it's more of a long developing run, which is exactly what we do.
That's what we do. Yeah.
Now the question is, it's all about for them. If you're looking at their 3-3-5 set, which presents some problems in terms of passing off and communication for the offensive line. Are we on our P's and Q's there? And are the backup players, we don't think so, but are the backup players going to pick the right gap? Because if they do and they stay disciplined, then, the explosiveness of the running game might be limited for Florida State. But yeah, there's a real chance that given that the right personnel is on the field, your top line personnel, you might be able to make some hay in the running game. One thing that we've got to examine too, and we would have done so even without a flu bug, Cam McDonald's availability, because he left the game at Clemson with an injury, and we don't know how he's doing. So that's independent of whether or not he's got a virus. So We'll see if he's available, because he's the guy with Gibbons that when we're running whatever, you want to call it a swinging gate action like in basketball, it's 75 and 87.
Because I haven't had the opportunity to do it on this show, and we'll go to break here in a second, but I want to give Jordan Wilson a little bit of love. You talk about the tight end position. He's a guy that I ripped earlier this year on the Jeff Cameron show, weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m., Monday through Friday. He's a guy that at times was non-existent as a blocker, and certainly had stone hands for whenever the ball was thrown his way. So there was a "what is it you say you do here" moment for me, and he's had 2 good games in a row. So kudos to a young man who's turned it around this year and begun to provide you something. And I bring that up because you brought up Cam McDonald. A few weeks ago, if you told me Cam McDonald couldn't play, I'd say, well, why even bother to put a tight end out there? Because we don't have anybody else. And now at least you have a second guy. I know we have 47 tight ends on the roster.
Yeah, I'd like to see a couple more. I mean, I would hope that we're hitting on those guys.
Well, I don't think we are. I think Jackson West has a chance. The rest of those guys.
Does he? I mean, it's almost like when you're looking at Chubba and the quarterback depth chart, it's like, okay, so you're leaving because you're not better than Travis? Yikes. Well, what does that say about you? Because, again, given what this offense wants to be.
Yeah, I think Jackson West will come around. Remember, as a freshman tight end, it's tough. I mean, that's a position where you got to be big enough, strong enough. You need to usually be here a little while. He's a guy that'll fight you. We know that. He'll fight you in practice, and he likes to get after you. He's scrappy. I think he's got the right mentality. I just don't think he's there yet. I think he's got to get a little bit bigger and a little bit stronger. But I'll have patience with him. That's the hard part for all of us, is that whenever you bring in a kid that you're even a little bit excited about, because there are so many opportunities here, you just assume that they should be able to step in and play well right off the bat. And I don't think every position certainly adheres to that. I mean, it's tough to do. Like, you wouldn't expect a freshman defensive lineman, unless they were preternaturally good, like Timmy Jernigan, to be able to get out there and play right away.
And even then, he didn't really start.
Right.
It wasn't until later in the season that he said, okay, he needs to be out there more time than not. For me, I had no expectations for Jackson West, but then Mike Norvell every damn day was like, well, Jackson's going to – I'm like, okay, well, we've got the reps. There are snaps out there. You go take them.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's hard. It's a hard position to step right in. We've got plenty to look at with this game, including our offense, our defense, their defense, obviously. And it kind of starts with NC State's quarterback with Leary. We'll get to all of that coming up on Tallahassee GameDay.
Imagine a salad made with only the freshest vegetables, with grilled or hand-breaded chicken, and topped with Southwest Ranch dressing. Big enough to fill you up without weighing you down. Made to order, when you order, in that order. Try our new Southwest salad with fire-roasted corn, tomatoes, and crispy tortilla strips. Just one of our made-to-order salads, only at Zaxby's. Redeem rewards, scan to pay, order ahead on the Zaxby's app.
50s and Ram 1500s. And of course, we have a big supply of Infiniti and Nissan vehicles. If we don't have what you're looking for, we will do our level best to find the car you want. Let other dealers charge you too much for pre-owned cars. Kraft Nissan and Infiniti are saying right now is the best time of the year to save on a quality pre-owned vehicle. Kraft Nissan and Infiniti of Tallahassee on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. And remember, if the car you are looking for doesn't have the Kraft tag on it, you'll pay too much, way too much.
Protect your home and your family. The Parker Brothers tell you the truth. We'll fix your roof, cause it's what we do. With quality, integrity, and pride. Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
Getting your roof inspected can save you thousands of dollars in the event of a major storm. Not to mention the peace of mind knowing that you and your family are protected. At Parker Brothers Roofing, we make it easy with free estimates, affordable financing, and professional installation every time since 1995. Call 656-8112 or visit parkerbrothersroofing.net today.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
Let's take a minute to imagine all the things you can accomplish with help from Southeast Portable Buildings. Are you a hoarder? Hoard some more. Get a storage shed. Mother-in-law moving in with you? Put her in a shed out back. I'm kidding. Still working on that engine that you're going to finish from last summer? Move it out to a new workspace with Southeast Portable Buildings. From she sheds and man caves to repair shops and trophy rooms, the possibilities are only limited to your imagination. Visit Southeast Portable Buildings today.
Our friends at Triangle Sales bring you an opportunity to enjoy a one-of-a-kind experience presented by Bud Light. It's the Bud Light Sideline Experience Contest. If you're a Nolan Tallahassee, text Bud Light Fan, all one word, to 31996. That's Bud Light Fan to 31996. If you're the lucky winner, you score 2 sideline passes, hospitality passes, and fan gear for the FSU and Miami game on November 13th. That's Bud Light Fan, all one word, to 31996. Must be 21 or older to enter. Please enjoy Bud Light responsibly. A message from local Anheuser-Busch distributor Triangle Sales.
Medicare rules are confusing. They should be. There are over 130,000 pages of regulations. There's Part A through D, Medicare Advantage, and Medigap. According to the CMS, there are government programs available that can help you pay for your medical expenses. Choosing the right Medicare plan is a really big deal. The wrong choice can cost you a lot of money, and the right choice can put more money in your pocket. Call one of our licensed representatives today. At 65 Plus Medicare, our free service can show you a plan that will maximize your Medicare benefits, ensure you are taking advantage of all available government-assisted programs, and save you money. Call now.
800-763-4829. 800-763-4829. 800-763-4829. That's 800-763-4829.
Double benefits listed may be available on all plans or in a single benefit package. Enrollment in the prescribed plan type may be limited to certain times of the year unless you qualify for a special enrollment period. No obligation to enroll.
Tallahassee Game Day is brought to you by Zaxby's, the official chicken of sports fans. Tallahassee Zaxby's, proudly supporting Florida State University and Seminole boosters for over 15 years. Now here's Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang.
And we're back. Helps to have the headsets on so I can hear the voice guy tell everybody we're back. So it is that Tallahassee Game Day rolls on, and it will be interesting to see. There are rumors already out there that McKenzie Milton will be starting at quarterback today. We are trying to run that down for confirmation if that is indeed accurate. But, yeah, I've heard, that this was whispered yesterday. It's been a weird 48 hours in Tallahassee in terms of personnel, but also, what's real, what isn't in terms of who practiced this week, what were they able to get done? It's disconcerting, Tom, coming into a game like this when the chatter, okay? And again, I won't confirm this because we know that Mike Norvell gets frustrated with any reports out of camp as it pertains to injuries and or people missing time. But if it's true that, okay, one quarterback transfers out on a Tuesday, rumors that he didn't even come back to school, by the way, after the Clemson game.
Oh, is that right?
So I don't know that he was ever here this week, which is unfortunate for him because he probably would have had a chance to play again, but that's what it is. Number 2, Jordan Travis, along with several of his teammates, having to get an IV, missed time due to the flu. And that was said to, hey, be true of McKenzie Milton as well. What did you get done in practice this week? You didn't have a starting quarterback.
We got better. We worked.
ESPN on College Game Day is saying that McKenzie Milton is starting. So I think we're probably there.
Yeah, I'm verifying that. But yes. So, I trust Eric.
Plus, I got a text. So I think we're gonna.
All right, you got your double confirm.
I think we're good here, man. But that is pretty brutal. To have that many people at the most important position on the field not be able to practice during the week leading up to the game. So if that's indeed accurate, it's hard to find a path to victory. But, stranger things have happened. You got a bunch of guys who've played a lot of football. If McKenzie Milton is, in fact, and we'll get official confirmation here shortly, going to start, the question isn't whether or not he repped enough in practice this week. It's whether or not his foot will allow him to step into throws and get anything on them, whether or not he can be an effective thrower of the football physically. He's played a gazillion games, and I'm sure there'll be some rust early. But if, once you get into a flow of a game and you've played a lot, I think certainly you have an opportunity to kind of get back into form. So cross your fingers that that's the case, but it's an interesting dynamic coming into a game that, unfortunately, prior to all this talk, you thought, oh, we could win this game. I mean, it's going to be tough to beat NC State, but again, two really key pieces to a defense that played so well early are out. Two linebackers that are dynamic are out. And that's an area that you hope. Now, on the other side of it, I mentioned a moment ago, Leary's a kid that comes in and doesn't turn the football over. And, I wonder if, in fact, this improving secondary, who's doing a good job moving on the football these days in a way that we didn't see early in the season, can you create something there? Can you do something? Can you find a way to be more physical with a group of receivers that are pretty good, but they do drop the ball as well? If the answer is yes, then maybe you get some momentum, create a turnover, wreak havoc with the front four, get him off his spot, make him become uncomfortable, maybe do something that you haven't really seen him do. And truthfully, Tom pointed it out earlier this week, his interceptions, the only two that he's thrown, really aren't real interceptions. One of them's basically a Hail Mary, and one of them's a desperate situation.
Yeah, the final offensive play against Mississippi State, they're down multiple scores. It's 4th and forever. And the USF game, I don't think they were in any danger. I don't know that in week 1 against USF, NC State is afraid of what could happen if they throw one interception. But that's it. 211 passes since Devin Leary's last interception. 21-2 is the touchdown to interception ratio. That's what you need in order to win a lot of middling games, 50-50 games. You don't need to lose the turnover battle, and NC State has only 6 turnovers all season as a team. That's crazy.
I'm so frustrated as we sit here right now. It's unbelievable that Mike Norvell and his staff have to be the unluckiest group of people on the planet. I mean, it's unreal how many times they've had to deal with nonsense. And it starts with coming in and having to sign a class in a week. We already talked about that. And then your first full year's a COVID year. And now you come home and you're playing. You guys are playing hard, playing well. They get some momentum, and you're ravaged by the flu. The kid transfers. Starting quarterback may not be able to go today. It's just, this is a winnable game, and it's frustrating to know that if you don't have, let's say, several starters, then you're going to get blown out. That's the bottom line. You're going to get your ass beat today if these guys can't play, and that's so frustrating because it will feel like a screeching halt to all the positive stuff we've talked about.
Hey, man, listen, I've got a compound word for you that is going to completely make you calm down and think that we can win this ball game. You ready for it?
Mm-hmm.
Wildcat. Wildcat. Here it comes.
With McKenzie Milton?
Oh, no.
Oh,
no.
okay.
No,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
with McKenzie
No,
Milton.
no. With Jay Sean Corbin?
How about Travis J? Huh? What do you think? What do you think?
I think we're going to get blown out. It's Tallahassee game day. Hey, I'll find a way to reverse fortune here. I'll pivot to positivity. I'll find it. Tallahassee game day continues in a moment.
Attention! It's enough. This has gone on way too long. If we're going to win this thing, we've got to go big.
Introducing Zaxby's new signature sandwich with a double hand-breaded filet, split top bun, and Zax sauce, our new spicy Zax sauce. Only at Zaxby's. Redeem rewards, scan to pay, order ahead on the Zaxby's app.
TheLonJohns.com. Right now, 45.
This is Patty Wilson.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're ready.
He's recording.
Why are you always saying your last name? It's Patty and Scott. Everybody knows who Patty and Scott.
I don't know. This is Patty Wilson. I am Patty Wilson.
What is the idea behind said promo?
It's for Patty's Playhouse. We're on Patty's Playhouse Saturdays at 11. Tune in. That's stupid. Just tune in. Saturdays at 11. Patty Wilson, Patty's Playhouse. House talk with a happy ending.
Each and every time.
At Epps Decorating Center, we're your locally owned Benjamin Moore retailer. We're your store for quality with brilliant and durable paints in a variety of sheens and thousands of colors. We're your store for service with one-on-one advice for contractors and homeowners. We're your local experts, and we're here to help with all your painting projects. Benjamin Moore, available at Epps Decorating Center with 2 locations in Tallahassee. Find a store near you and visit EppsDecorating.com. That's EppsDecorating.com.
Our partners at ISF know you want to do amazing things. You have big ideas and goals for the future. For over 40 years, ISF has focused on solving the future for state government through strategy, process, and technology. As a national management and IT consulting firm, ISF has the expertise to transform strategies, refine processes, and implement solutions to lead you in today's changing environment. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Hi, I'm Jeff, founder of Which Superior Sandwiches, and I'm here to tell you about our signature witch, the Wicked. Why call it the Wicked? Some say it's wicked tasty, some say it's wicked large. One thing's for sure, with oven-roasted turkey, ham, pepperoni, roast beef, and bacon, as well as your choice of 3 cheeses, it definitely takes you from wicked hungry to wicked happy in just a few wicked good bites. Only at Which Superior Sandwiches.
On Wednesday, the Wicked is just $5. 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
Charlie Crist, he's running for governor. To mention the governor, I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. And we see it in presidential. We see it all the time. It's the new norm. We even saw it in local. That it should be. It's like, hey, I'm running for this local seat.
Do you understand? I heard a statistic that like half of our population reads at like an 8th grade level.
And what is the other 2/3 rate?
That means almost half does not. You're right.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. Tallahassee Game Day is brought to you by Zaxby's, the official chicken of sports fans. Tallahassee Zaxby's, proudly supporting Florida State University and Seminole boosters for over 15 years. Now here's Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang.
All right, in a second, we'll get to the offensive keys to the game. Still trying to track down and get confirmation. It is not official. I want to make that abundantly clear. We do not know that McKenzie Milton will make the start for Florida State today. So let's make that clear. That is a rumor out there. A couple of people have mentioned that it was mentioned in passing on College Game Day. We don't have that on in here. I didn't hear it with my own ears. So I'm struggling now. I'm reaching out to people to try to get confirmation on that. But that is a rumor. I want to make sure it's official that it's a rumor, okay?
And what we did know, even before Chubba Purdy was gone this weekend, and that was officially announced, and Chubba went on Twitter, was that if Jordan couldn't go, it is McKenzie. It was going to be McKenzie. Even if Chubba was here on campus and stayed and didn't transfer, it was going to be McKenzie.
Right, and that, a lot of people speculated that might have been the reason that Chubba Purdy decided to leave, because he got information that if Jordan couldn't go, then it would be McKenzie Milton. But again, that is not official. My bad if I intimated that it was. It is not official. But there are a lot of rumors out there that it is going to happen. We'll continue to do the show. If we get confirmation that it is happening, we will relay it to you immediately. Trying to track down one of my guys here who I would trust.
Be prepared for anything today, folks.
Well, I mean, that's the bottom line.
That's the hard part about this.
It's really frustrating because the rumors are born out of the fact that a lot of people on this football team has practiced this week. That we know is 100% accurate. We also know that a lot of those people were out because they were sick with the flu. So all of that is true. That is 100% accurate. And therefore, it makes it very difficult to know which one of those guys of the bevy of people that missed time are going to be able to be back and play in this game. And also, what percent are they, if you will? How good can they be? We don't know.
And this is also, unless they were able to get the team out to a hotel, off campus earlier this week and go virtual with learning. Like, this is a fluid situation, not meaning to make a pun with the word flu, but if you've got a guy who's out on Monday and Tuesday, well, he might be fine for today, but then maybe somebody else who was practicing on Tuesday and Wednesday is not available today. That's how the flu works. And we know that for those of you that are just tuning in today for the first time and you're not paying attention to what's going on during the week, there were emails sent out to staff members, professors, and the like at Florida State University. This is not an athletics thing. This is a university-wide issue. And the edict to the professors was, do not have your kids go to Thagard, the medical clinic, to go get excused absences for sickness. We're too busy. We're backed up here. People are lined up out the door. None of them healthy. So you all stay the hell away. Just, you know what? If the kid says he's sick or she's sick, you're going to have to take their word for it.
So the Noles have rushed for at least 200 yards in 6 of their first 8 games and are one of 8 teams with 6 200-yard rushing games this year. Why do I bring it up? Well, I mean, that's their modus operandi. That's how they win games. That's what they're trying to do. It's what they can do decently well. It's a serious setback if Jordan's not in there, because the ability to run the football to the tune of 200-plus yards is directly impacted by what defenses have to fear with his legs, and it opens up others in the run game. That goes away today if he doesn't play. that the element of his legs and threatening the defense and having to honor that goes away. So that's why it's such a big deal. It's not that I don't think that McKenzie Milton can understand what they're asking him to do or process or be able to get out there and play and pick it up quickly because he's played a million football games. It's that if there's no threat of run from the quarterback position, you're dead in the water because you don't do anything else well enough. So you're really going to have to fall back on a defense here to win you a football game. That and special teams. And listen, special teams has been really poor. So today would be a good day to get it right. Today would be a good day to win ugly and fall into your defense. Today would be a good day to have that group step up and dominate, create some short fields, and perhaps find a way to cobble together 20 points.
Yeah, that's something that this team in general you can expect out of it when it's at full capacity and the roster is there. Offensively is you're not going to get 6 yards of play. You're not going to get, your yards per play may say 4.7. It may say 5.2. It may say 3.8. But that's not what you get each play. We are not a 3 yards in a cloud of dust team. No. It's no yards, 2 yards, 84 yards, no yards, 1 yard, no yards, punt.
Yeah.
That's who we are. And I think no matter who starts today, that's what you're going to be dealt with. The question is, can you generate short fields in order to put yourself in those situations to get a few cheapies somewhere in the neighborhood of 7 to 10 points based on short fields and turnovers? I won't mention special teams because I don't anticipate that we're going to get short fields from special teams. It just doesn't happen. But that's what you're going to have to look at today.
You don't suspect they're going to come up huge in the return game?
They're going to come up something in the return game. And I don't know, man. Perhaps odious would be a word I'd use. It's just atrocious.
They haven't found somebody. The biggest thing, I think now it's gotten to be so mental. They've tried so many people back there. And a big part of that, too, is guys are told, whatever you do, don't turn the football over. And I think there's just a real fear instead of an attacking mentality.
Yeah.
Like, I think this thought of, hey, I get an opportunity here to make a play. Most guys who are really good returners, are really quick and can make you miss in tight quarters, but they see it as a chance to showcase that ability. They see it as, oh, here's my chance. Oh, I get to go do this, as opposed to don't drop the ball, don't drop the ball, don't drop the ball. That's no way to attack special teams. And, because they're so worried about the turnover, they don't go catch the ball because they know they can't turn it over if they're not around it. And they let it bounce. And invariably, we watch that sucker roll another 30 yards, and it just kills you. And, my cohort on Seminole Headlines, Irish Rafael, cracked me up this week when he was like, everybody calls those hidden yards. They're not hidden. They're right there in front of me. I can see them. Look at all these yards we're wasting. Look, there's bouncing. There's 5, there's 7, there's 15 yards. That's not hidden at all. I'm looking at them.
What was it, about 75 to 80 for Clemson on 3 punts?
Golly.
I know. Well, our former colleague and good friend, Tim Linnefeld, said weeks ago that maybe Greg Reed should open up a punt return camp. Just serve, because it's not just a Florida State issue. You see this across the country.
Yeah, but you see it in
fair
excess here.
Oh, well, yes.
Yeah.
It's the supersize me version of all the problems right here.
Yeah.
But you see kids fair catching the ball at the 6. You see kids letting the football bounce when, a team's pinned back in their own territory, and it's a shorter kick because the punter's nervous. He's in his own end zone, and you can't get to the ball at the 48-yard line. It bounces back onto your own 38-yard line. You just lost yourself 14 yards. And instead of being able to be in a short field situation, now you're kind of neutral. All because you can't run underneath the punt and catch it. And now we're experimenting with like 2 returner guys, 3 returner guys. I mean, oh my God. It was stressed here when Mike first got here that special teams were going to be how well we're coached. And the funny thing is I think we're well coached everywhere but special teams at this point of the season, because we're getting better in so many different areas. But special teams, for all the time they spend on it, it's like you're eating the wrong thing every day.
Yeah, I would spend far less time on special teams. I'd spend an inordinate amount of time on everything but special teams.
Why not? It couldn't get worse.
It couldn't get worse. I'd spend the time that I'm spending on special teams now in many other areas on offense and defense. Like maybe I'd spend that extra time with my linebackers, try to get them better. But actually, that's an ability thing.
Right. It's like I eat breakfast every day. Yeah, well, it's a McRib. It's not something amazing like a Southwest salad from Zaxby's. Like, what are you doing? It's great that you eat every morning. If you're eating the wrong thing, what good is it going to do?
Tom has decided, not you, Tom, but on the chat, I cracked up. Everybody's kind of weighing in, and Tom mentioned that he's cracking a beer. It's time at 9. What time is it? 9:44.
9:44.
Oh,
on November the 6th, the year of our Lord 2021.
Cheers, Tom. I'm drinking my coffee on Tallahassee Game Day, but cheers to you, buddy, because this news in the first hour at Tallahassee Game Day, it ain't been good. I understand you. If you woke up with high hopes and flipped on the old Tallahassee Game Day, they were extinguished pretty quickly, weren't they? About 20 minutes in, you're like, well, sweet Jesus. Nobody's available to play.
Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to
Am I even going to
go.
watch the game today? Should I go golf? Should I go do something else? Should I go to the park? Should I go for a walk with my dog? This is ridiculous.
Apparently, well, what we're finding out, too, and we appreciate Eric and your contributions and also the Cincinnati presence up there. You're repping your city as Game Day is up there, I guess. I don't even pay attention to where they are, so I guess they're in Cincinnati. But Reese Davis apparently is good buddies with McKenzie Milton. That's what we're gathering.
Those guys do get information ahead of time, so however they do. I mean, that it does happen.
It's amazing the transparency with TV crews. It's just unbelievable the trust there.
Well, I'm just going to say that what ends up happening there is that, first of all, Kirk Herbstreit is able to text players all the time, and we know that. And that's a good thing. He's doing his job. He's finding out information. He used to do it with Jameis. Yeah, Paul, it was great to meet you, too. Very good to meet you and your significant other. It was nice. I would just say that, they do get that information. So I'm not shocked that could come out. Because if they're directly communicating either with coaches or players, it's not surprising the national folks get that info ahead of time. And it might very well be that at different awards banquets and so forth, Reese Davis has had a chance to get to know McKenzie Milton, certainly, and that story, and he could have texted him and asked him. I don't know. We're not confirming, but that is the rumor that
College Game Day mentioned it in some form or fashion.
In passing, in some form or fashion. That is the best way to phrase this. That somehow it got mentioned on Game Day because more than one person has said that. So, I mean, I suppose that is accurate, but we can't confirm it until we watch warm-ups, until our guys at warchant.com, Ira and Corey and Aswan, all those guys will be over there. Surely somebody will be able to tell us if they see it, and, we'll find out.
Yeah. I would think here we go. Well, you never know, Gator Kirk. Maybe a liquor store near you will be sponsoring some of our programming moving forward.
Oh boy. Well, we can look at the defensive keys to the game, Tom.
Oh, I'm sure we could.
Let's do it next on Tallahassee Game Day.
Be healthy.
Imagine a salad made with only the freshest vegetables, with grilled or hand-breaded chicken, and topped with Southwest Ranch dressing. Big enough to fill you up without weighing you down. Made to order, when you order, in that order. Try our new Southwest salad with fire-roasted corn, tomatoes, and crispy tortilla strips. Just one of our made-to-order salads, only at Zaxby's. Redeem rewards, scan to pay, order ahead on the Zaxby's app.
Food served family style and packed full of comfort.
Red Eye Coffee with locally roasted coffee, high quality teas, hand blended cocoa, and house made artisanal chocolates and pastries.
And Trip Drop Fitness, an exciting place for women in Tallahassee to have fun with a rewarding physical workout and feel confident in high intensity cardio and group fitness classes.
'Tis the season to love your local. Find a full list of participating local businesses to love at oevforbusiness.org.
That's oevforbusiness.org.
Make this summer spectacular at home. The City of Tallahassee Utilities offers a variety of grants, loans, and rebates to help with energy-efficient upgrades. Adding ambiance outdoors with a natural gas grill? Check talgov.com/u for current rebate offerings. Concerned about cooling your home this summer? The city's ceiling insulation and energy retrofit grants might be able to help. Visit talgov.com/YOU or call the City of Tallahassee Utilities at 850-891-4968 to learn more.
When the forgotten poor are in need of healing, they wait for a ship unlike any other. Mercy Ships, a floating hospital staffed by volunteers, heroes of mercy who donate their time to save lives.
Every human has the right to have a place at the table of the human race.
If you could just see the smiles that you get when lives have been changed, then it would make it all worth it.
To learn more about Heroes of Mercy, go to mercyships.org.
You went online to switch your car insurance to Progressive so you could save money, but then you saw a friend request from an old summer camp buddy. And now here you are, clicking through photos of his kickball team from 2011. Oh, looks like they won the championship that year. Then he moved to Tulsa.
Oh, a new tattoo. Yes, they said it was easy to save hundreds on car insurance with Progressive, but they forgot about the rest of the internet. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. National average savings by new customer surveyed who saved in 2019.
Our friends at Triangle Sales bring you an opportunity to enjoy a one-of-a-kind experience presented by Bud Light. It's the Bud Light Sideline Experience Contest. If you're a Noles, Tallahassee, text Bud Light Fan, all one word, to 31996. That's Bud Light Fan to 31996. If you're the lucky winner, you score 2 sideline passes, hospitality passes, and fan gear for the FSU and Miami game on November 13th. That's Bud Light Fan, all one word, to 31996. Must be 21 or older to enter. Please enjoy Bud Light responsibly. A message from local Anheuser-Busch distributor, Triangle Sales.
Zaxby's, the official chicken of sports fans. Tallahassee Zaxby's, proudly supporting Florida State University and Seminole boosters for over 15 years. Now here's Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang.
Today's sub of the game, or which of the game, is served up by Which Superior Sandwiches. Did you know, Tallahassee, that on Wednesdays, the Wicked is just $5? That's right, 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5. Visit any of Which's 3 Tallahassee locations for a superior sandwich today. I visited Which yesterday. I was able to pick up a bunch of glossy, free Wicked Wednesday gift cards.
Well, the cool thing is it's actually double. You get 2
Wickeds.
That's double the Wicked.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. That's very cool. And they're a proud sponsor, and we appreciate them and their support of us. It's kind of funny. We're sitting here talking about the sub of the game. I think we know who it will be if he plays. I mean, if in fact McKenzie Milton who is rumored to be starting today, if in fact he does, that'd be the sub of the game. There's no question, but we don't know that for sure. So if you want to pick somebody else, feel free. You get next.
I think there's going to be, thank you. Like the WNBA, we got next.
Yeah, you got next, buddy.
There's going to be a groundswell at the stadium, and you're going to hear
Rodemaker?
Rodemaker.
I don't think anybody's chanting that young man's name.
There we go.
No,
I don't know. Bavion Johnson is the guy I'd pick.
Because every week.
I think Bavion Johnson should have played last week.
I do too.
Yeah.
And I actually think he should be starting over Devontae Love-Taylor, who has not been good all year long.
At this point, yes, because Devontae Love-Taylor has not been 100%. Now,
Yeah, and that's important to point out, by the way. I'm not ripping him in terms of effort or even lack of ability per se, but he didn't, that injury really set him back a long ways. He didn't get a chance to get in shape for the season and to get right and get stronger, for example. He didn't get that opportunity, and he's just not been the same guy since that injury. So it's not his fault. It's a shame. I know he knows the game. I know they like to have him out there because of his leadership and his ability to call out defenses and all that stuff and get us into right protections. But the physical part of it is really lacking. And Bavion, when given an opportunity, has performed better.
No, I mean, we were hanging our heads when 58 came out of the game at Chapel Hill because we're thinking, oh, man, you're just on the precipice of maybe getting something going here. And we still go on that 35-7 run with Bavion Johnson at right guard.
Yeah.
And when you have 2 guys in the interior that are hobbled, and there's no doubt that Dylan Gibbons, given that he couldn't practice last week, but there's no doubt that he was slower around every
when he tried
turn.
to pull, he couldn't really. Yeah.
We were catching blocks instead of, driving blocks and making things happen. And we're not the fastest offensive line in the world. You could see that Alex Atkins really puts an emphasis on having agile and athletic offensive linemen because they want to create these kinds of angles. Well, Bavion gives you the better chance to do that. So for me, we'll see. It might be that he starts out of necessity. Like, we just don't know. We just don't know what's going on now. But if everybody's healthy, everybody on the offensive line, I still want to see Bavion start this football game.
I've been banging that drum for 4 or 5 games. I just don't think Devontae Love-Taylor, who we love, he does trench talk for us.
If he was 100%, man.
Yeah, we love him, but he just is not.
He was behind since camp. He didn't get to go, and get in live reps in camp until week 2 or week 3, and even that was with the 2s. That tells you that it's just been, he's been chasing things the whole season long, and that stinks.
It does. It seems a theme right now. I guess I would just tell you, in terms of guys missing time and being hurt and playing through injury, it's thematic. It's the 2021 season. It's rather remarkable, and it started right out of camp, coming out the first game of the year, where you got word that the offensive line was not completely healthy headed into the Notre Dame game. and it's kind of been that way for the most part of this entire season. Now, when they've had those guys in there, I call them the big three, really. When they've had those guys in there, they have been a more than serviceable unit. That's hence the reason they've been able to rush for 200-plus yards in 6 of their 8 games. That's because when they're in there and they're relatively healthy, they're pretty good players. I'm talking about Smith and, obviously Williams. I mean, all those guys are pretty good players when they're healthy.
Right, and we talk about, Jermaine Johnson, Keir Thomas, Jamie Robinson as wins in the transfer portal.
Fabian Lovett.
Yeah, going back a little ways. But
yeah.
Dylan Gibbons is a win, too.
Oh, absolutely.
We were wondering, he's a backup at Notre Dame, and you see how bad Notre Dame's offensive line, maybe they should have kept him. Maybe they're thinking to themselves, man, we should have given Dylan some run this season. And I understand that you're grading against a curve. It's not like, we're world beaters here on the offensive line at Florida State, but you've got him for 2 years. I mean, you love what he's going to bring to the table next year at left or right guard, whatever. You could pencil him in.
The transfer portal, it gets, it's part of the modern conversation of college football. What teams are going to do what in the portal? How many guys should you take? What balance of players on your roster should be transfer portal guys compared to guys that are kind of homegrown, for lack of a better term, meaning high school recruits that you develop? And it's a fun conversation. I think it's just an added element of the game. But for Florida State, they have really been able to show that they can analyze. Now, listen, did they get it 100% right? No, nobody does. You're taking a risk. A lot of times there are guys in the transfer portal for good reasons. Either it didn't work out at their previous place, they had a problem with the coaching staff had a problem with them, whatever it might be. So you are taking a risk on some guys. But for Florida State, if you consider all the names you just threw out there from the transfer portal, I would think this is a desired place to come to, in that the coaching staff gave you proof of concept. Hey, we recognize what you are there. We think you can help us here. We'll get you in. We'll make the most of your talents. We just ask that you, help build our culture and accept our principles here. And I mean, you can name 5, 6 guys that have come in to do that and are giving you something on the field in addition to that leadership. So I think when you go out there in the transfer portal going into, this offseason, I think a lot of guys would be willing to take a good long look at Florida State because of those successes.
Right. The opportunity plus the success. You could have an opportunity in a lot of places if you're a high-level transfer, but that you can see that Jermaine Johnson's about to get paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that makes all the difference. The thing that we're going to have to go through it in a more serious way, but in the era that is one freebie for transfers in big-time college football now, where eligibility is not a concern, that gets really dicey. And now within the conferences, there are rules. Most conferences have that rule where you can go from one school to another. So you can go from Miami to Florida State to Miami, and not have to sit out. That's crazy to think about, given where we were 5 years ago. But coaching staffs are going to have to navigate that.
Mm-hmm.
Even the good ones, certainly ours, because when you're trying to build a roster, you don't want to deplete morale with your kids that you brought in as 4-year scholarship players by overwhelming with transfers. It's the issue that Miami is debating heavily because they've relied so heavily on transfer kids.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're going to be doing so again unless they can go through the run of runs in the next 3 months.
Which they might.
They might. I'm just talking about they've got 8 kids right now, 8 high school kids committed to them.
Yeah, it's a toughie.
So, and a lot of people are attributing that to, well, they're just going to go to the transfer portal anyway. Well, that's no way to live either. So you've got to strike a balance there.
That's true.
But it's a tough thing to do and maintain your culture.
Well, the NFL, you see it all the time. Most guys will tell you do not build a roster through free agency. You do it through the draft. You draft your guys, you develop your guys, you get them indoctrinated into your system. Now, if there's a key cog that's out there that could help you win and win right now, if you're ready to win and all you're missing is a rush end and there's one available, you go bring them in. That's fine. But you don't build that way typically. You build through analyzing and executing in the draft.
And to make matters more confusing to that end, you get 25 plus 7 this year. The NCAA, or I don't know if it was Group of 5, Power 5, whatever it is, but Division I college football as we used to know it, you can now have an extra 7 players for this one offseason only that could be transfers and not count against your 25 that you typically bring in through the high school ranks.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to counterbalance this whole rush to the portal, the first year wave, and say, all right, we got to find some homes for these kids that don't want to be on the current campus. So there are some rules there as well. Florida State does have more flexibility. You ran 32 new kids potentially this offseason. 85 scholarships, 32 kids. You talk about an overhaul. You can make it happen.
It's what happened at Michigan State. Mel Tucker did that and has turned their fortunes completely around. And it helps when you go out and get a running back who's a Heisman candidate from Wake Forest. And I mean, it's crazy, right? I mean, they're out there. Guys are out there. It's possible. And if you can execute it, and it's tough to navigate, as we just pointed out, you can really change your team pretty quickly. Tallahassee Game Day, second hour forthcoming. Stay with us.
Son, it's enough. This has gone on way too long. If we're going to win this thing, we've got to go big.
Introducing Zaxby's new signature sandwich with a double hand-breaded filet, split top bun, and Zax sauce, or new spicy Zax sauce. Only at Zaxby's. Redeem rewards, scan to pay, order ahead on the Zaxby's app.
A judge says that's because of injuries the man suffered in a shootout later with police. The House approving a $1.2 trillion package of road and other infrastructure projects. Here's correspondent Andrew Stewart.
The 228 to 206 vote comes after Democrats resolved the month-long standoff between progressives and moderates. Lawmakers passed the measure late Friday night, giving President Biden and the Democrats a legislative victory.
Democrats claim the measure, which now goes to the president, will create many jobs. At least 92 people have been killed, 30 critically injured when an oil tanker exploded in Sierra Leone. Large crowds had gathered to collect fuel that was leaking from the tanker after a collision with another vehicle. Also at townhall.com, Democrats say they tried to warn their party about growing Republican momentum ahead of Tuesday's elections. Correspondent Ken Lorman reports.
Democrats in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, felt the Republican wave building over the summer when frustrated parents filled school board meetings to complain about masking requirements and an academic theory on systemic racism. They were not surprised when Democrats all across this key county northeast of Philadelphia were wiped out in Tuesday's municipal elections. Democrats also lost Virginia's high-profile governor's race and suffered embarrassing outcomes in suburban New York, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey. Ken Lorman reporting.
The message from Democrat is loud and clear. It's worse than you think. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Why are cash-out refinances such a big deal right now? Uncle Ryan tries to teach me something.
I really feel like right now might be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I've been doing this for 18 years now, and I've just never seen a market where the rates are so low and values across the country have skyrocketed as much as they have. That combination, I remember one couple in particular, they were looking to do some home improvements at the house, but they were worried about their payments going up. Well, with rates being so low and them building up so much equity in the home over the last few years, we were able to get them to cash out for those home improvements, and their payments actually went down a little bit. Every single situation is different, but it does happen more often than you think. So it definitely does not hurt to call.
We are United Faith Mortgage.
United Faith Mortgage is a DBA of United Mortgage Corp. 25 Middle Park Road, Melbourne, New York. Licensed mortgage banker. For all licensing information, go to nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Corporate NMLS number 1330. Equal housing lender. License in Alaska, Hawaii, Georgia, Massachusetts, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Utah.
Did you know metal roofs' survivability far exceeds that of traditional shingle roofs? It's time to consider a metal roof from Metal Roofing Sales of Tallahassee. We provide the best quality, least expensive material and accessories in the area, as well as material pickup and delivery. Our painted panels qualify for the City of Tallahassee's low-interest Energy Star loan program also. And don't forget about our veteran law enforcement discount. Give Metal Roofing Sales a call today at 536-9123, 536-9123.
Just when you thought the chicken sandwich war was over, it's coming back in a big way with Zaxby's new signature sandwich. It's a double hand-breaded filet, split top bun, 3 zesty pickles, and if that wasn't enough, it's smothered in Zax sauce, or new spicy Zax sauce. That's right, it's such a big deal, we made a totally new sauce to give it the kick it deserves. The other guys won't know what hit them. The new Zaxby's signature sandwich. Have you tried it yet?
The following is a live production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network and Real Talk 93.3. Fire up your grills. It's time for Tallahassee Game Day on Warchant TV and Real Talk 93.3.
That pass is intercepted to the delight of all Seminole fans. The pick six.
Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang bring you the latest news, updates, and analysis around the FSU program ahead of today's kickoff on Bobby Bowden Field.
2nd and 3, patient and explosive, and a touchdown for the Noles.
Tallahassee Game Day is brought to you by Zaxby's, the official chicken of sports fans. Tallahassee Zaxby's, proudly supporting Florida State University and Seminole boosters for over 15 years. Zaxby's, indescribably good. Now live from Florida's capital city, here's Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron.
It's great to be with you on a game day. Welcome in, everybody. You're in town for the game. Welcome to Tallahassee. It's good to have you. Should get, actually, I think, Tom, we're in good shape over here. Outside is beautiful right now. If the rain stays away and we get these cool temperatures, we're in good shape, buddy.
Yeah, there's a slight chance for, I mean, you know how it is. In the winter, the rain's a little bit different than it is in the summer. It's not the tropical downpours.
Right.
But there's a chance for lunchtime, early afternoon, mid-afternoon rain, but it's not going to be too much. So I guess the track might not be as slick as we thought it would be because it rained through the night.
Yeah, it did. It's temperature-wise, perfect for football. Pre-game, post-game, or no game at all, anytime is the right time for Zaxby's Platters. Feed your team of 12 to 14 people with your choice of traditional or buffalo fingers, boneless or traditional wings. If you're having trouble deciding, get the best of both worlds with the sampler platter. Don't forget that world-famous sauce. Satisfy your chicken craving today with Zaxby's Platters. Order online or through the app. Tallahassee Zaxby's, a proud Seminole booster for over 15 years for Florida State. We normally, in this segment, do a sideline report. And in this time, it would be critical if we were to find out the information this hour. We don't know. Rumors swirled last hour and early this morning and really late into the week that there might be some problems with personnel due to the flu. That's how we began the show, by informing everybody. And for those of you just tuning in, that the flu seemed to really ravage Florida State's campus, not just Florida State athletics, not just Florida State football, but really the campus. It's unfortunate. We wish everybody well. But as it pertains to this game, it really could have a serious impact. We don't know who's a go and who's not at this point. The most serious speculation involves the quarterback position. Now, there we do know that Chubba Purdy transferred away. Might have been an opportunity for him to play today. We went over that transfer portal edition earlier in the show. I'm not going to relitigate that, if you will, but he's not an option. So you would be looking at McKenzie, Milton if Jordan Travis cannot play today. We don't know if that's accurate to say that he cannot play today. We do know that a lot of key members of this football team missed time in practice this week. Some missed the bulk of the week. Some missed just a day. Again, without getting into specifics about who and how many days, we do know that a good number of players, including many who start, missed time at practice this week due to the flu. So we're going to be watching very closely. Everybody is, to see who starts at quarterback today. Does McKenzie Milton get another start? Really, we were probably heading down a path at the time that we didn't think that would happen again, because there's no future in it. If you were going to play guys, you were going to play guys that are going to be here next year and the year after. And McKenzie himself, when given an opportunity to get into the game against UMass, said, no, let some of the younger guys get out there and play. And I think for him, at that point, you're kind of in the UMass game, you're resolved to the fact that your future in football is likely coaching. And if you're a team guy, and he is, then you're going to say, let some of these other guys get reps. It'll help them in their future. It was a nice, it's a nice thing to do as a teammate. But now you may be required. We don't know, but you may be called upon again and have to give it a go. And the question will be, how effective can he be? We don't know the answer to that. We can speculate because we've seen him out there. We know that the run game suffers greatly when Jordan Travis is not there and the defense doesn't have to account for the threat of his legs. So you would think in some ways the run game would be greatly affected without Jordan Travis there, obviously. But how much better can your passing game be? Well, we'll see how effective physically McKenzie is. Part of the problem for him has been that foot. It appears to go numb at times. He's fallen down over air and grass. So that would say to me that that's something wrong with the foot there. We've also seen him not be able to get anything on the football at times, and that's because he can't step in.
Right.
So that's what I'm going to be looking for right off the bat is where is he at physically if he plays today?
Yeah, McKenzie Milton that we've seen here in Tallahassee is much like the offense is, with or without McKenzie Milton on the field. Streaky. There's a rhythm to the way he plays. That goes back to his days in Orlando, too, even when he was fully healthy. There'd be 3 or 4 drives. You're like, my God, is this guy even a D1 quarterback? And then there are the next 4 drives. You go, well, did he just oversleep or something? Did he not know the kickoff time? Because this looks like a completely different player. This looks like a Heisman candidate.
Yeah.
That's who he is. Now, that's also accentuated with worse players around him and an injury that crops up from time to time, and that one that you can't predict. So if he's on the field today, I would think the bubble screen game with the RPO is probably what we're looking at. You can still succeed with that and get to, I would think, the high teens, low 20s. Is that going to be enough? Well, more onus is on the defense. Here's hoping that the defense is fully healthy and ready to go today.
This one's for you, announcing the Bud Light Sideline Experience Contest. If you're a Nole in Tallahassee, text Bud Light Fan to 31996. That's Bud Light Fan to 31996. That's Bud Light Fan, all one word, to 31996. If you're the lucky winner, you score 2 sideline passes, hospitality passes, and fan gear for the FSU Miami game on November the 13th. Have to be 21 years of age or older in order to enter. But again, Bud Light Fan, all one word, to 31996.
I'm glad they extended that contest. That's next week. So good luck to everybody who's entered. And if you haven't, get on it now. That Miami game's next week. I don't know if you heard about it. It's going to be a big one. The McKenzie Milton thing, though, that gets fun, if you can just put your disappointed face away for a moment, if that's what happens, and we don't have it confirmed yet. But every great fighter has one more good fight in him, right? And he is a bona fide good college quarterback, especially when he was healthy. Yeah. I'm not going to say that he was perennially a Heisman candidate, but he's a good player.
He was a real good player. He was. There was stretches of time where he was upper crust player in college football at the position.
Well, one more good fight left in him. You never know. You get in 2nd and 7 a lot, and then you let him manipulate defenses with his eyes, and he gets in that rhythm.
Somebody pointed out January Man on the chat here, and when I read it, I nodded my head. That's correct. He is in tempo a very good player because his instincts are good. He understands the game and he knows what he's looking at. So if you get him into a rhythm and his body doesn't betray him, he is very good at understanding what defenses are trying to do to him. He knows where to go with the football. You saw little glimpses of that in a couple of starts where he kind of got it going. Now, when they're not in tempo and we don't have the run game going in any way, he doesn't have the physical attributes to overcome that. So it's something to look for today if he does play. And again, we're speculating. We do not know this is the case. But if he does play today, if he's in fact your starter, is that what they do? Do they go all tempo? Do they try to run a lot of tempo? Better win first down. Better get that first completion. Get that thing going. That's the key with all of that. If you don't, and you're behind the chains, then it's going to be a long day because Florida State's certainly not very good in pass protection.
It's going to be a long day very quickly if that's the case, too, because that's what tempo does. Yeah. You're staring. There's 9 minutes to go in the first quarter. It's the 3rd possession for the opposition. You're like, oh, boy.
Yeah, if you're not, that's absolutely true. So we'll have to watch that closely. I know we need to do the defensive keys to the game, and they're brought to you by Zaxby's. We'll get to that here in a moment on Tallahassee Game Day.
Imagine a salad made with only the freshest vegetables, with grilled or hand-breaded chicken, and topped with Southwest Ranch dressing. Big enough to fill you up without weighing you down. Made to order, when you order, in that order. Try our new Southwest salad with fire-roasted corn, tomatoes, and crispy tortilla strips. Just one of our made-to-order salads, only at Zaxby's. Redeem rewards, scan to pay, order ahead on the Zaxby's app.
Parker Brothers Roofing says don't play games with your roof. Protect your home and your family. The Parker Brothers tell you the truth. We'll fix your roof, cause it's what we do. With quality, integrity, and pride. Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and and dry inside.
At Parker Brothers Roofing, we understand that the decision to get a new roof is a big investment. It's an investment in building equity, an investment in your future, and an investment in the safety of you and your family in the event of a major storm. At Parker Brothers Roofing, we make it easy with free estimates, affordable financing, and professional installation every time since 1995. Visit ParkerBrothersRoofing.net today.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
Jerry's Famous Cigar Shop and Lounge has been serving Tallahassee now for over 27 years. And with the addition of their beautiful new location on Cary Forest Parkway a few years back, Jerry's has the largest selection of quality cigars in Tallahassee. So come relax with their large walk-in humidor, state-of-the-art air purifiers, and spacious lounge with over 35 comfy chairs. Jerry's Famous Cigar Shop and Lounge, Tallahassee's fine cigar destination for over a quarter century.
Did you know that in a single year, more than $1 trillion of Social Security benefits were paid out? If you're nearing retirement age and have questions about your Social Security, I can help. This is Craig Collins with Collins Income Tax Solutions. If you've been concerned about your Social Security benefits, give me a call for a free consultation to learn how we can help maximize your Social Security benefits. I'm online at collinsIncomeTaxSolutionsLLC.com or give me a call directly at 850-391-7659.
Hi, Chris Kraft for the Kraft Brothers dealerships. At Kraft Nissan, we've been amazed at the number of Toyota and Honda people trading up to Nissan's new family of SUVs. The changes are stunning. And don't just take my word for it. Motor Trend tagged Rogue as the 2021 SUV of the Year finalist, adding that Rogue can go toe-to-toe with Honda and Toyota. Well, guess what, Tallahassee? We can't keep the new Rogues on the showroom floor. Seriously, if you haven't seen one for yourself, come take a test drive and you'll see the new Rogue sells itself. In the 2022 Nissan Pathfinder, it's roomier, quicker, and better equipped. Plus, the second row seats easily slide and flip forward to allow access to the third row, even with a child seat installed. And finally, Car and Driver says savvy shoppers will be surprised by the new Armada's luxuriousness. So I encourage SUV lovers to come see the new Nissan family of SUVs. Everyone knows that Nissan SUVs have more standard equipment than the competition. The award-winning Rogue, Pathfinder, and Armada, only at Kraft Nissan, Mahan Drive, Tallahassee.
Our friends at Tri-Eagle Sales bring you an opportunity to enjoy a one-of-a-kind experience presented by Bud Light. It's the Bud Light Sideline Experience Contest. If you're a Noles in Tallahassee, text Bud Light Fan, all one word, to 31996. That's Bud Light Fan to 31996. If you're the lucky winner, you score 2 sideline passes, hospitality passes, and fan gear for the FSU and Miami game on November 13th. That's Bud Light Fan, all one word, to 31996. Must be 21 or older to enter. Please enjoy Bud Light responsibly. A message from local Anheuser-Busch distributor Tri-Eagle Sales.
Tallahassee Game Day is brought to you by Zaxby's, the official chicken of sports fans. Tallahassee Zaxby's, proudly supporting Florida State University and Seminole boosters for over 15 years. Now here's Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang.
Something to note on that, Zaxby's has been upgrading Nole fans and local heroes' game day experience all season long. Friends at Zaxby's are proud to announce that for the remainder of the season, they'll be giving their pair of 50-yard line seats to local heroes with the Guardian Ad Litem of the Big Ben, officially known as the Second Judicial Circuit Guardian Ad Litem Program. Our thanks to Zaxby's for their support of those who help local youth in our area. If you'd like to volunteer or to help change the life in an undercared for, I don't want to say completely uncared for. That just sounds so depressing. Undercared for a young person in our community, head to gal2.org, GAL2.org.
They do unbelievable work.
Yes, they do.
We get to see what they do for, morsels of the year, but, 365 days they're dedicated to what they do for kids in our community, and we can't thank the Guardian Ad Litem and charities just like that enough.
Defensive keys to the game also brought to you by Zaxby's. Needless to say, guys, we're telling you to get you some Zaxby's. And I would tell you, Tom, today, obviously, you got to shut down the run game. They have 2 backs that they like to run at you and be physical with. I think Florida State can shut that down. Other teams have begun to shut that down against NC State. Now, Leary is a very capable quarterback, but if you can get them into predictable situations, he's not so dynamic that he goes and wins games on his own. So I think for Florida State, do what you've done for the better part of this year in being good against the run. Now, they did get worn down in the Clemson game, and they gave some up late, but I feel like you can be effective against the run game here.
Yeah, I think so. Bam Knight the last 2 weeks has averaged just over 2 yards a carry, and that's the guy that Zonovan Knight is his given name, but that's the guy who's been there for a little while at NC State and somebody who's made us look rather foolish as we've been challenged physically and not been able to meet that challenge against NC State's rushing attack. If we're healthy today, I think we can answer. Ricky Person is the player to watch. I believe he wears number 8 for NC State. He's the guy who can get yardage in chunks from the running back position. He's got long runs over 17 yards in most every game this season for the Wolfpack. He'll catch the ball in the backfield for 10 or more yards at least once a game, half the time so far this season. So that's the guy who can amass the yardage in quick chunks. Bam Knight is the guy that they look to as more of the steadying force. If you can neutralize that, that's great. To me, I think that we will, and so therefore my key actually goes to the secondary. Is it for real? Are these improvements for real? Because Clemson's pass game is atrocious, even though they've got weapons, and it looked okay last week. Now you've got another challenge where Amika Emezi's been there since 2017 catching passes.
Devin Carter is there. Yeah, they've got guys.
Devin Carter has as many targets as Thayer Thomas. You wouldn't know that because he drops the ball every 5 times it's thrown to him.
He does.
Thayer Thomas is another good weapon that, again, if you run a lot of man principles or you want to get up close to the line of scrimmage in a 3rd and short or a goal line situation, that they will create rub routes for Thayer Thomas. That was the tying touchdown against Clemson in overtime, a particular nice concept there. So for me, it's, all right, I think you're better. Are you really better, defensive backs? Because here's your opportunity today against a quarterback who is accurate with the football, doesn't make too many bad decisions. Can you force him into bad decisions and or win one-on-one battles? Because these guys can go up and get the football at NC State.
They ran and do run a lot of what Jimbo Fisher does. Mesh concepts are there, certainly. They like the horizontal game. I mean, I
if
think,
you run zone, they'll go curl flat on you. Yeah, a lot of pro style.
A lot of pro style stuff there. They do run some RPOs off of it. But I just, it's not a dynamic offense. It's a, I think a steadying offense. I think it doesn't make a lot of mistakes. I think it's able to take advantage of what you give it. I think that the best aspect of this NC State team when they're playing well is their defense. Now, again, they've lost some personnel on that side of the ball. They had 2 linebackers go down, and both were very good players. Cyrus Fagan is what he is. I don't care about him as much. He was an okay player here, and he's an okay player there. But they've lost him too to injury as well. But the linebackers were important, and those 2 going down has had a huge impact on this defense. They are no longer a dominant defense. They are just a good defense.
Well, and NC State's also missing an interior offensive lineman now too. So we'll see how that impacts things.
Shame.
Devin Leary's numbers when he faces pressure go down like precipitously.
Yeah.
Sometimes you would expect they go down under pressure, right? Not everybody's Jameis in 2013.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is, again, if you look at the splits, pressure doesn't mean blitz. It doesn't always mean blitz. In fact, if you're really good up front, you don't need to ever. Devin Leary against the blitz is about the same as Devin Leary not against the blitz. What does that tell me? That NC State's excellent at communicating pre-snap and picking up extra pressures. But if you look at when facing pressure and when not facing pressure, Devin Leary is a very different quarterback. 71% completion percentage when not pressured. When there is pressure in the pocket and he's hurried, 45% completion percentage. That's a big, big difference. And it's not through the blitz. So the front 4 has to win. Because if you have to bring more than 4, clearly what the blitz numbers tell me is Devin knows how to process information and where to go with the football.
Yeah, he's very concise and quick to read that. And I think you're right about that. The front 4 has been very good for us, though, this year. So,
Yes.
I mean, I do think that's – if you have to rely on something like that, it's good to have players up front that have really produced for you. I mean, I just time and again come away impressed with that group. They've been the most consistent aspect of this football team. So, and by the way, again, if you got guys out today, we're speculating. We don't know, but we know a lot of guys missed practice. We've said that a lot today, but just refreshing for people who are just joining the show. I mean, look, if you got a lot of guys out, hopefully none of them are on that front 4 because for this defense, because those guys, along with the depth behind it, have been very, very good. And they can take over games for long stretches at a time where you just absolutely bottle up an offense and give your offense repeated chances to keep you in the game.
Well, and for once, unless they're trying to surprise you, you've got a quarterback that can't break the pocket and run for 15 and 20 yards if you break contain. He's not going to make you pay to that tune. Now it might be 3rd and 5 and he gets 6 to pick up a first down.
Yeah, he's not completely immobile.
But he's not Garrett Schrader who's going to run for 45 yards. You're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
For the first time in a long time, we're facing a quarterback like that. For about a month straight, outside of UMass, that's been the opposite.
Yeah, we've had time and again where you think to yourself, well, that's just something you're going to have to live with. Today, you don't have to live with it being backbreaking. I guess is the best way to say it.
It could be a drive extender and
Yeah.
you get mad, but it's not going to be 6.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we did have a stretch there where that was every time it happened. You thought, well, really, does the guy got to be capable of running for 25 yards every time we turn our back against you? I mean, because you're in man so often that does happen. We don't have zone eyes, as they say.
Right,
We're
right.
not able to take a look at it as much. And we simply really can't. Our personnel does not allow us to do that. And when we do it, we don't do it well. Talking about zone. So
Well, that's where you hit on it. They do run RPO concepts against man. They've got a game plan for everything. I like this offense. I do.
no, I think that if you're just talking about what they run and their ability to execute it at times, yes, I conceptually I'm with you. I like what they do. It's not dynamic. It's just good. It's just, but the scheme is what you like, and I do too.
Correct. And Leary at times can make dynamic throws. He's got the back shoulder throw in the repertoire. If he's got to throw the back pylon on a certain concept, he can do that. Deep down the middle is whatever, but outside the numbers, he's fairly accurate down the field. So again, I think you're going to get a good challenge if our top guys are out there at defensive back. You're going to see a good challenge. Here's an opportunity to prove to everybody who's watching, all the Nole fans, that this is not fake. This is real improvement.
Yeah, and I'm going to be a broken record. The caveat is, again, how healthy are they? How much energy do they have? How many of those kids that have shown progress? Because I believe, for example, Kevin Knowles' progress is real. Regardless if it shows up today or not, it's real. He's a good player. I don't know how healthy he is today. Don't know if he's had any problems with the flu or not. We don't know that about each and every player on this team. A lot of guys missed. Which ones did specifically? We don't really know.
Well, the other thing, too, is we're watching how we perform against a bona fide passing attack with an eye towards Miami. That's also what we're doing here.
That is unreal what we've seen Miami do these last couple of weeks. The Van Dyke kid has gone nuts.
If you have answers today to pretty good ACC players and a pretty good passing offense in the ACC, it makes you feel better about what we're about to see next week. Not that it necessarily is going to translate, but you'll feel better about it than if we get torched for 400 yards today.
Yeah, you'll feel like you have a chance. Yeah, absolutely. Tallahassee Game Day brought to you by Zaxby's continues in a moment.
Son, it's enough. This has gone on way too long. If we're going to win this thing, we've got to go big.
Introducing Zaxby's new signature sandwich with a double hand-breaded filet, split top bun, and Zax sauce, our new spicy Zax sauce. Only at Zaxby's. Redeem rewards, scan to pay, order ahead on the Zaxby's app.
.com. Right now, 46.
Thank you for calling the Medicare Help Desk. How can we help you?
Hi, can you help me change my prescription drug plan? I don't think my wife and I are getting the right coverage we need right now.
Of course. That's exactly what we are here for. Plus, open enrollment is happening right now, so you've come to the right place at the right time.
Great. It just feels like there are so many options to consider, we don't know where to begin.
Well, don't worry. We know everything there is to know about Medicare, and we will make the process simple and easy for you.
How much is this going to cost me? We live on a fixed income and don't have a lot of wiggle room.
Our consultations are 100% free and cost you nothing.
Wow. Thank you, Medicare Help Desk.
Hi, this is Justin Colvin, founder of the Medicare Help Desk. If you need help navigating the Medicare landscape, I'm easy to find. Just visit the MedicareHelpDesk.com. That's the MedicareHelpDesk.com. Send me a message and I'll help you find the right Medicare coverage.
This is Dr. James Ryan Finn from Finn Chiropractic, encouraging you to join us for our 5th annual Healthiest Chili Cook-Off. We're doing this November 10th on Veterans Day Eve to honor our veterans, and we are supporting Wreaths Across America. If you'd like to come and sponsor Wreath, enjoy some great chili, enjoy some great live music outside, please RSVP as a chef or a taster at finnchiro.com. That's FENNCHIRO.com, because your chiropractor loves you and there's nothing you can do about it.
Hi, I'm Jeff, founder of Which Superior Sandwiches, and I'm here to tell you about our signature witch, the Wicked. Why call it the Wicked? Some say it's wicked tasty, some say it's wicked large. One thing's for sure, with oven-roasted turkey, ham, pepperoni, roast beef, and bacon, as well as your choice of 3 cheeses, it definitely takes you from wicked hungry to wicked happy in just a few wicked good bites, only at Which Superior Sandwiches.
On Wednesday, the Wicked is just $5. 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5.
It's Congressman Michael Waltz on the Greg Tish Show.
Good morning, Congressman. How are you doing?
Hey, doing well.
Again, just what you have to go through day in and day out. I don't know how you have hair left, or like Matty Rowe, just completely bald.
Hey!
Sorry.
And the irony of it all, the progressives are the tail wagging the dog. This whole bipartisan White House is a joke. We're just watching them eat their own.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. Tallahassee Game Day is brought to you by Zaxby's, the official chicken of sports fans. Tallahassee Zaxby's, proudly supporting Florida State University and Seminole boosters for over 15 years. Now here's Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang.
Time for Who's Hot, Who's Cold, brought to you by Barano Heating and Air Conditioning, a longtime friend and partner of the Jeff Cameron Show, as well as Tallahassee Game Day. Turn to the experts at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning for all your heating and cooling needs. No matter what time of year it is, Barano will always be there for you. Head to baranoac.com or call 580-4029. That's 580-4029 today. Who's hot?
Jermaine Johnson. I challenged that he needed to step up in a big spot against Clemson because he had, 90% of his sacks and tackles for loss in the first handful of games this season. And he made a play that would have been in Florida State Clemson lore had we been able to finish the football game.
Yeah, and was promptly penalized for showing enthusiasm upon making a game-changing play. That's what that rule's there for, everybody. Penalize people for showing emotion in the game of football. That's what we do around here. Ridiculous. Yeah, he's a good player. Very good player. And has been all year long. Plays the run well. Can get after the passer. If he gets one-on-one, he really does showcase 3 solid pass rushing moves. He can get into your chest and really dominate with a bull. We've seen the swim. And, of course, his ability to kind of gets that left hand and pulls towards and swims around. It's beautiful to watch. He's a good player.
Well, and given what we said in defensive keys and looking at Devin Leary's numbers against pressure is not necessarily blitzing. If the front four is the key to life of making sure Devin Leary is not comfortable today, then Jermaine Johnson has to continue that trend and put together a nice little stretch in November, make himself some more money. Go make yourself as much money as possible, man. You've done everything you could have in your power to help this program get back to where it needs to go. In fact, you probably gave us the chance that we never deserved to beat Clemson last week. Given what our offense was doing, you literally put us ahead, and we couldn't hold it for you. I'm bummed for him for that reason.
Yeah, I'm bummed a little bit there too. I know that you look at his play, you look at what the defense did in the second half of the game. You saw real improvement. The first half they weren't very good in that game. The offense just really couldn't ever get anything going, and we know why. Again, if you can't block it up, can't move the football. Cold at this point. I mean, I don't know that there's any specific player that I want to name because I'd rather just name a segment group. But the linebackers aren't any good. And I say it every week, and it's really hard to watch when you go back and rewatch our games. The amount of runarounds, missed opportunities, wrong gap, terrible in coverage. I'm going to say the linebackers. They've been ice cold all year long. They play hard. And I don't have anything personally against any of our linebackers, but they don't sustain a high level of play.
One of the words in the lexicon on the JCS is rat trapping. That's what they were doing in the second quarter last week. The defenses in general responded fairly well in the second half, but they needed to get to halftime. And even then, it was more about limiting damage than preventing damage. They had a good finish to the game, but the beginning of the second half was okay. But they were much better, and it looked like they had their heads about them a little bit more than they did in the first half, or the second quarter specifically last week. For me, cold, it's easy. It's the return game. Just garbage every week. I mean, it's so bad.
I just don't even mention it anymore. It's like it's not even an element of football because we do it so poorly.
It drives me nuts. We don't catch the ball unless it's the 5-yard line. That's, what are we doing?
Then we'll go out of our way to make amazing catches on the 5.
And the thing is, and it's probably worth clarifying here because this is technically a different program than our weekly one. JP has done fine with the position group. We'll see how the younger kids at defensive end develop. He's a good recruiter. He's a good guy. I like him personally. He's a hockey fan. He's a big Washington Capitals fan. I won't hold that against him. But with the special teams, if the voice has got to change, if Mike is dominating those meetings and John is there for the ride, then maybe John needs to run those meetings. If John is the one that's leading all the special teams meetings and these kids just aren't listening to what he's saying.
Mhm.
Another voice needs to be in the room, man. We're done with this. It's 2 months of it. It's holding us back. I can't believe with all the problems we have on this roster, I'm telling you that special teams is holding us back. That should be the thing that's pushing us forward. It's so bad.
It is one of the ways to kind of make up for some other elements of your team that aren't where they need to be. And we thought it would be. We certainly said coming into the season that that's what it would be because they work so hard at it. They value it with their words. They tell you this. And then their actions in practice suggest that they mean that. And yet we don't get the execution on game day. So I would think that's an opportunity. And this offseason, it will happen for sure. Any good coaching staff, self-scouts. And my guess is there's no way to, I mean, it's an obvious thing, right? There's no way to avoid the deficiencies. It shows up in the numbers as well as the eye test. So like the actual numbers tell you they're bad. And then when you watch them, you can tell that they're bad. There's no way to ignore this glaring weakness. So when they self-scout, I think he's going to end up having to look at the way we're teaching this, what is not translating? Because I don't have any questions about when I watch it in practice, it's fundamentally sound what they're teaching. And they rep it to death, but it does not show up in the game.
No.
So what is the disconnect?
You could even say that UMass beat us in the return game in special teams.
Oh, they did.
I mean, they did.
Yeah.
You know, it was one fumble for one fumble, and still they beat us. Like, it's crazy to me. You're right. They rep it a bunch. Seems like the things that they're teaching make sense. But when you can't even beat UMass in the kick return game, then it's not just about personnel because they put their big players out there too. So something's up. But it would be nice, listen, in a game like today where you're going to be shorthanded to some degree, we just don't know who and where, but you're going to be shorthanded to a degree because of the flu bug. Hidden yardage would help, but you just can't bank on it. And that's why that thing is ice cold as a carrier unit from Barano Heating and Air Conditioning. I'll tell you that.
That was Who's Hot, Who's Cold, brought to you by our friends at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning. As Tom alluded to, give them a call today, 580-4029, or head to baranoac.com. I've got a few minutes here left in the segment before we move forward with it. Is there an aspect, when you did the third and lang piece this week, was there an aspect of NC State's overall makeup that you thought could be taken advantage of by Florida State? I have this exercise when I'm thinking in my head about a matchup. You know, you do what everybody does with a game preview. You kind of go through like, okay, head to head, offensive line versus defensive line, and you try to find the check marks, right, for each team. Well, Florida State for several years now tends to lose the check mark battle because they don't have an elite group of players yet. And we're hoping to see more of those guys get here. But usually you can find something where you say, oh, we have an advantage there, or we do this better than they do. Or was there anything that showed up to you when you were looking at this team and doing the third and lang?
I mean, when NC State's at its best, then no. But they're not consistently there, right? So that's the thing here. You're assuming that NC State's going to be a bit of a mixed bag. And if that's the case, it's the pass rush. It's going to get Leary off of his spots. He does appear flustered by that at times, which some quarterbacks, they'll just stand in there, take the hit, and deliver the ball. And you're like, man, this guy is unfazed. You can kind of get in Leary's head. I do think, given the way that NC State is produced on the ground, especially at Miami, I couldn't believe Miami rose up and stopped the run for the most part in that game, especially by Miami standards, which has been just terrible. They don't want to tackle. They don't want to stop the run. That was an aerial assault on the Hurricanes. They were not able to establish the run. I feel better about our chances of making NC State one-dimensional on offense. And I know that's a lot of defensive talk of late, but I mean, again, when you're trying to project out your roster and you've got a flu bug going in Tallahassee, I like talking from more of NC State's perspective than Florida State's because I know what they're bringing down and what they're bringing to the table.
Yeah, who's in, who's out, right?
Right. If it's a 3-week trend for NC State and Bam Knight can't get going again, and Person is their best option,
you give yourself a chance.
You're going to see a lot of 3rd and 7s. And it's just a matter at that point, are you good enough to get off the field? But I think you could put NC State in a lot of 3rd and mediums and 3rd and longs today.
Yeah, and I also think if we're looking at one element of a matchup here that would be in Florida State's favor, it's the red zone. Florida State's been really good in the red zone, and I didn't think I'd say that because early in the year they were not.
Right.
But they've gotten better and better. In fact, via Seminole Notes today, they converted 17 consecutive red zone trips for a total of 105 points, the 4th longest active streak in the country. That's ESPN stats and info, by the way. And the program's longest red zone scoring streak since converting 30 straight to end the 2016 season. Its first in 2017. For FSU was 1 for 1 with a touchdown in the red zone against Louisville, 6 for 6 against Syracuse, scoring 4 touchdowns, 2 field goals, 3 for 3 against North Carolina with 3 touchdowns, 6 for 6 against UMass, and 5 touchdowns there and a field goal, 1 for 1 at Clemson with a touchdown. When they get into the red zone, they're scoring now. I mean, they flat out are dominating the red zone. That is an area of specific improvement as the season has gone on. They've been very good with that.
Now, that is an interesting matchup because NC State is coming in playing pretty well in the red zone themselves on defense. If you look at the Louisville game last week, where it was close to the end, you look at that score and you're like, oh, wow, NC State pulled away and it was not interesting. Now, that game was nip and tuck. It was 14-13 and it was in the balance. But Louisville, Satterfield was a complete wimp early on in the game.
Always.
Right. It's 4th and short. You've got Malik Cunningham. He kicks a field goal. They miss it from like 30 yards. And then later in the game, NC State, I believe, gets a 4th down stop. If it wasn't in the red zone, it was on the precipice of the red zone. But NC State is playing well defensively in situations. You wonder if the attrition is going to affect that. The other thing, too, is since they run the 3-3-5, again, your offensive line has got to communicate because NC State will come at you from all angles.
They zone blitz as well.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So you've got to have great communication there. But if it's a straight 3-man rush, can you handle that?
Well, you should be able to. It's not Clemson's defensive line.
I would hope so. But if I'm a left defensive end going against Robert Scott at right tackle, I'm trying the speed rush on every play until he proves he's fast enough to get the corner. Because by the third quarter of the game against Clemson, they had figured out, oh, I don't need to do anything fancy. I'll just run right around you.
I'll just run past you.
Yeah.
One final note on the red zone stuff. Again, when you're looking for improvement and buy-in and all that stuff, and you see this in the red zone and you're executing at that high level to where you're top 10 nationally, it's worth noting that they're that way too on defense. They're second in the ACC currently, but they're 7th nationally in red zone defense, allowing a score on only 65% of drives that reach the red zone. 6 of 12 red zone conversions in the country. They've held opponents to 6 of 12. That's 50%. And that's just points, like field goals. They have done a very good job of keeping people out of the end zone.
This is where, again, if you look at Devin Leary, across his career at NC State, across this season, you can see that he has throws that, force guys open. They do a couple of things really well that concern me when they get into the red zone. Number one, that RPO, he understands how to run it, and he understands what he's looking for in the keys, and they do a good job of bringing linebackers or safeties up towards the line of scrimmage and forcing the throw over the top, and he hits it. He's also good at the back shoulder in those situations, but force him to make those throws. That would be the thing this year. Last year against NC State, Bailey Hockman, it was too damn easy. It was too damned easy.
It's the only good game the kid's ever played.
Yeah. And they played him down here 2 years ago, and he was awful.
Yeah.
But force Leary to make those throws. He's capable of them, and you tip your cap. If it's Jerrion Jones against a Mezzi and it's a perfect back shoulder fade, what can you do, man? What can you do? But force that, please. Don't make life so easy that there's a coverage bust in the red zone like there were last year. I don't think there will be, and those numbers that you said, indicate that. But we're much better in that regard.
Much better. Tallahassee Game Day, brought to you by Zaxby's, continues in a moment.
While other gun stores coming.
Imagine a salad made with only the freshest vegetables, with grilled or hand-breaded chicken, and topped with Southwest Ranch dressing. Big enough to fill you up without weighing you down. Made to order, when you order, in that order. Try our new Southwest salad with fire-roasted corn, tomatoes, and crispy tortilla strips. Just one of our made-to-order salads, only at Zaxby's. Redeem rewards, scan to pay, order ahead on the Zaxby's app.
Screams that the all-new Frontier is worth the wait. My favorite review, car and driver took one out for a test drive. They said motorists kept giving them a thumbs up and waving them down for a closer look. One of the biggest improvements is that the interior is a whole lot quieter, prompting a road and track reviewer to say, the new Nissan Frontier is my favorite midsize truck. Motor1.com said if Frontier is targeting the Tacoma, Frontier One. You can get a lot more truck for a lot less money, which is exactly why CarBuzz.com claims that now is the time to buy the all-new 2022 Frontier. Google it yourself. The 2022 Nissan Frontier is the most truck for your money and soon to become Tallahassee's favorite midsize truck. Craft Nissan, Tallahassee.
Let's be honest, we all have way too much stuff. Maybe your storage closet is full, your garage is full, or the guest bedroom is a mess. Call Southeast Portable Buildings, 580-6400, or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
If you're an attorney who struggles with the balance of managing your practice and practicing law, consider Lexicon as your #1 pick. From client intake to billing and all that comes in between, Lexicon doesn't miss a thing. Our comprehensive solution combines best-in-class software and services to take care of your firm's most critical challenges, automating many of the tasks that take time out of your day. It's all about giving you more of your billable hours back. And who doesn't love more revenue? No more searching for practice management that works. Lexicon marks the spot. Visit lexiconservices.com to learn what Lexicon can do for you.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Our friends at Triangle Sales bring you an opportunity to enjoy a one-of-a-kind experience presented by Bud Light. It's the Bud Light Sideline Experience Contest. If you're a Noles Tallahassee, text Bud Light Fan, all one word, to 31996. That's Bud Light Fan to 31996. If you're the lucky winner, you score 2 sideline passes, hospitality passes, and fan gear for the FSU and Miami game on November 13th. That's Bud Light Fan, all one word, to 31996. Must be 21 or older to enter. Please enjoy Bud Light responsibly. A message from local Anheuser-Busch distributor, Triangle Sales.
You work hard, so you deserve the good things in life, like getting an amazing deal on awesome internet. That's why there's never been a better time to switch to Xfinity. Get the fast and reliable internet you deserve for $20 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. And for the first time ever, ask how to get 12 times the speed for the same internet price when you add Xfinity Mobile. Just imagine, faster downloads, more streaming. The possibilities are endless. That's more speed, and you'll save hundreds over AT&T. Plus, ask how to get an eligible 5G phone on us. For a limited time, $300 back. So what are you waiting for? Sign up now because you deserve awesome internet. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay. Ends 11/21/21. Restrictions apply. New performance starter internet 50 Mbps customers only. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. After term, regular rates apply. Compares monthly service charge for Xfinity 600 Mbps and AT&T 500 Mbps each with 1 unlimited mobile line for a year as of 10/6/21. Reduced speeds after 20 GB of mobile usage.
Tallahassee GameDay is brought to you by Zaxby's, the official chicken of sports fans. Tallahassee Zaxby's, proudly supporting Florida State University and Seminole boosters for over 15 years. Now here's Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang.
The disclaimers on those things are amazing, by the way. It's like the any of the medicine ads that you see. Those are always hilarious. Like they tell you about the goodness, and then the last 45 seconds of a 60-second commercial is how you could die.
Right.
If you take this, by the way, this might help save your life, or it could kill you in a lot of disastrous ways. And I'm going to tell you about them for the next 45 seconds.
It could cause heart attack, stroke, priapism.
Yeah,
I'm like,
just really.
none of those 3 things sound appealing.
Excessive diarrhea. You're like, really? That's what we're doing around here. Oh, man. Today's game predictions are brought to you by Lane's Medical Shop. Locations in Colquitt and Donaldsonville. Lane's Medical Shop offers all your medical supply needs. They even have delivery and emergency services available. Lane's Medical Shop, 229-758-9111. 229-758-9111. Tell them I sent you, or Warchant.com sent you, for a half-off discount.
It's a nice little perk right there. Half off.
Half off is crazy, right?
Yep. Buy one crutch, get the second one for free.
I don't know who's going to start today for Florida State. I don't know who's available for Florida State today. I don't know how much of a depth chart Florida State has with guys that have actually impacted games this year. I have no idea what our personnel is going into this game because of the flu, the amount of practices missed by certain players, all that stuff. It makes doing a game day prediction awfully difficult. I had, if both teams were healthy and the knowables were what we expected them to be, I still had NC State winning this game this week. Tom, I can't remember what I predicted. You might remember. We all had to do game predictions, but it was something similar. I think you and I were very similar.
I said 27-17. You said like 31-14, something like that.
Oh, no, I don't think I had it get blown out. I did.
I'll double check.
I had us losing. I know that, but I think it was like by 10 or 13 points, something like that.
One prediction I have for today, and this is going to happen. So it's not even a prediction. It's just a future fact. I'll be at a place. I don't know if you know about this place, buddy. It's called Warchant.com. It's a great website.
Heard of
Covers
it.
Florida State.
Yep.
I'll be there from about 2 o'clock till kickoff, scouring the updates to see who the hell is dressed and who's in street.
Yeah,
Actually, it's not even going to be a situation where there's dudes in street clothes. They won't be there.
No.
They've got the flu. So when they're doing the bean counting from the press box, I will be on warchant.com, the tribal council, waiting for those updates because those are critical. That changes everything about how you feel about today's game. Everything.
Yeah, I'm skeptical of their chances because of the way the week has gone. Even the guys, Tom, that are going to play, let's just say that, in fact, they are able to give it a go. How much did they get done in preparation this week? I mean, if you're missing practice left and right, you got a real problem. So we'll see. The rumor, and it is still just a rumor, we have no confirmation. Is that correct?
That's correct.
The rumor is that McKenzie Milton has a chance to start today because Jordan Travis may have missed significant time this week with the flu bug.
Right.
And if that's the case, then, obviously we'll be watching intently, but I just don't know what you're going to get from McKenzie Milton if that's accurate.
Well, and this is the thing where it's not breaking news whatsoever is what the two deep says. Chubba Purdy transferred. So if anybody's out, who the next guy up is. If Jordan's not available, McKenzie's going to play. I mean, that was going to be the case either way this week.
Yeah. No, that's not wild, irresponsible speculation. That's accurate. That's what that's maybe the thing that bothered Chubba.
Yeah, if you want some behind the curtain stuff, now that Chubba is, obviously gone, and it was made public by Chubba himself too, he wasn't there at practice earlier this week, and we thought that perhaps it had something to do with the flu bug that's going around the team. For him, it was different. For him, it was different.
For him, it was different. We don't know. I couldn't confirm this, but I was told that he didn't return with the team from Clemson.
Damn. Cleaned out his locker and just went home with mom and dad, huh?
I think he was about done dealing. So now I don't know if that's 100% true. I was told that.
Must have felt very bullish about those 2 drives against UMass.
Just frustrated, I guess. Here's the thing about that, and I don't wish an ill will on the kid. I hope he goes and has some success. If you're asking my opinion, will he? Probably not. But
depends where he goes.
Depends on where he goes, right? He just didn't do enough in the practices that we saw to warrant sort of the aggressive pursuit of that playing time. I'm sure there were discussions. I'm sure he had to go to the coaching staff more than once. I hope he did, and express his frustration about not getting more reps. But when we watch practice, there was never anything ever that would have you believing that he should absolutely be seeing more playing time. I mean, just never saw it.
No, there would be a flash, but then the consistency, like Tate's more consistent in practice than Chubba is,
Yeah.
at least from what I saw.
Yes.
But the thing is, and listen, we're allowed to have real talk on, it's Real Talk 93, but we're allowed to speak openly and freely on a pregame show. Even you typically want an optimistic bend to the conversation.
Sure. There's a lean.
If you're not good enough to usurp Jordan Travis, who's an incomplete player, then what are we doing here?
Correct.
So why are we all crying about it? You know what I mean?
Crying. Nobody's crying. You shouldn't be crying either, everybody. It's all right. It's okay. That frees some stuff up.
The point is, Jordan is very good at what he does, but,
it's the one thing he does.
What percent of the playbook can you open up to Jordan Travis? 10? 15% of the playbook?
Look,
what percent could you open to a dual threat quarterback who has the base skill set in theory on paper that Chubba would have?
Correct.
80, 90%?
Well, yeah.
And yet you still can't win that job? That tells me all I need to know.
Yeah, you could run your offense. They're not running their offense right now, and this has been a talking point for a number of weeks. You have to do what you have to do to get by. You are tasked with the responsibility of trying to win football games. And at some point earlier this year, after experimenting, somewhat disastrously so, they recognized this isn't working. We can't have our cake and eat it too. We're not going to be able to introduce these other elements. We're going to have to go with a guy, play to his skill set, and call plays accordingly and try to execute exceptionally well. So let's get this guy prepared. Let's get our line with the angles, try to work in the run game here, and hope like hell we improve on defense and we're in some games. Turned out it did work. It did work on the road against, obviously you snuck out a win against Syracuse, and then you went on the road and you beat North Carolina, and you played really well there. You just couldn't block Clemson. People want to know where all the wrinkles were and all this other stuff to our offense. Well, if you can't block the opposing team, I don't care what you call, it's not going to be successful. You're not going to have opportunities because you couldn't block them. Hell, we couldn't block Clemson's 3-man front. So That was a lost cause, and yet they still almost won the game. They still found a way to be in it late. So they're playing hard. They're playing smart. They're trying to get the most out of what they have, but they are limited. If we're just talking about the quarterback position, that room has got to get better. I would, thank goodness they've got A.J. Duffy. It looks like he is as firm a commit as you're going to get. He's going to enroll early. That's his plan. That's good news. I would, like you said earlier in the show, go out and bring in another guy. I would. I would. That room's competition. It doesn't mean Jordan can't win. I welcome him into the competition. We'll see. He may take offense to it. I don't really care. He's not good enough for me to worry about that. I'm going to go get somebody else and have them compete.
Yeah, and if he does play today, let's live in that moment.
I hope he does. Give him the best chance to win.
Right. Well, let's see that he can run the read option with the confidence level
that he did against Carolina.
Yes, and then also run with decisiveness. The one thing that killed me last week is you got to read the room. If you're Jordan Travis, you have to know by watching film that I've got to do more than anybody else in this offense in order for us to win. I've got to do it. Me. And it's not by keeping your eyes downfield for an extra 2 or 3 seconds when you can break the pocket and even run for 5 or 6 yards and slide. If that gets you in a 3rd and 3 instead of 3rd and 8, great. Because guess what? Now they've got to fear your legs and your arm on 3rd down, and they've got to defend it as such. But there were 4 or 5 at minimum occasions, I thought, last week where he breaks the pocket. And I like that you keep your eyes down the field. It's what we ideally want in our quarterbacks.
Typically.
But you don't have the receivers to break free. So even if you were able to deliver the ball downfield, and I know what you would say, but even if you were able to deliver the ball downfield with some zip and some accuracy and consistency, are you going to win those matchups with Clemson, with our receivers? Probably not. And if you've got grass in front of you for even 4 yards, again.
It holds true today too, Tom, if he has the opportunity.
Go.
I don't know. Again, we don't know if he's going to play or not. Game time, we'll be watching very, very closely. Everybody will be. I would invite you to follow the Warchant.com staff. In particular, this afternoon, Ira and Corey they'll be in the stadium early. They're going to be watching warm-ups. Watch their Twitter feed. Go to Warchant.com. It's updated there too if you want. You'll be able to, kind of get an idea of what personnel's out there. I'm very, very interested to see who's available for this game. It's not just the quarterback position. A lot of guys missed time this week. We know that. A lot of guys have been affected by the flu. So, that's Ontario Wilson. That could be Keyshawn Hilton. That could be Robert Scott. Could be Maurice Smith. Could be, Cam McDonald. Plus, he came off the field with injury. Could be, I don't know, Jermaine Johnson.
Yeah.
You got to be watching closely who we have because that gives you an idea whether or not we have any chance at all.
Well, in the final few minutes before we sign off, too, we got to thank Vishal, who always, man, thank you so much, Vishal, for your support of the program.
I did not have it up. I appreciate it.
It just came in this very second,
Thank you,
so we
Vishal.
appreciate that. Lawrence Toafili got hurt towards the end of the game.
Yes, he did. On the very, not towards the
yeah, right, it was the final play.
It was the final play.
The final play.
Stupid-ass thing, yes.
It was. That whole situation was just, You're throwing a Hail Mary. Well, whatever. That game happened. It's over. The word around the program was that it wasn't terribly serious. Even though it looked bad in the moment before the TV broadcast went off the air, they didn't think it was terrible. So let's see if he's available today. Hopefully he is. But that's another weapon that, again, if the flu bug has taken over the who's in, who's out conversation here. But Cam McDonald left that game with an injury. Actually, Fabian Lovett left early in the first half, came back and played.
Yeah.
But Cam McDonald, it looked like
came back and played well.
He did. He did.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see that. And I thought the moment that he was out, I'm like, oh, man,
we're in trouble.
here we go.
Yeah.
But they did, outside of a couple of chunk plays on the ground, they did pretty good at stopping the run. I thought. Given all of Clemson's...
Shipley ended up having 120-something yards rushing, but yes.
Well, they had 60, as a team, they had 60 on the one run.
Mm-hmm.
It was the outside zone
longest run we've given up this year. Yep.
Yeah, we hadn't given up a 20-yarder. Gave up several in that game. But I thought down for down and in the throes of the game, we competed and we battled hard against the run. But Fabian Lovett was banged up, came back in. That's the moral of the story. Cam, is he back? We'll see. He's very important to the offense. And Toafili has played a lot better the last couple of weeks, so he would be a weapon if he is available.
Yeah, he's a guy that, by the way, that one of the best throws Jordan Travis has ever made. That is a on the wheel. That's a beautiful throw. You couldn't walk it up there and hand it to him any better than that. There's no slowing down or anything like that. It's in rhythm. It's beautiful. Everything about it. So, I hope all these guys are able to give it a go. I thought even with a healthy team that Florida State was kind of outmanned in this game, I didn't give them no chance to win.
Yeah.
I do give them no chance to win if you're missing several starters because this is not a team with a lot of depth. They don't have a lot of depth. So if you're missing starters, you got problems.
Yeah, it gets really tough. You're glad that this game is not up in Raleigh. because that's already a house of horrors for us, even when we were a good program. Like, remember 2014, the Jacoby Brissett game, when dude's Neo in the Matrix, just like hovering above the ground, throwing. I mean, like Patrick Mahomes type throws from the Super Bowl.
I do remember.
Except they were completed, little prayers. I would give us absolutely no chance if we were on the road, even with a full group, because they play that much better at home.
Jay, and I'll answer your question really quickly. The defense is going to have to dominate the game today for us to win. The defense is going to have to carry the day. A lot of players missing practice this week. I have a hard time believing the offense is going to be in any sort of rhythm. We'll see. But the defense is going to have to dominate this game if Florida State is to win it. I think we're both picking NC State to win. We both want to be wrong.
Yeah. It's not that we're punchless, but we got to know who's playing.
Yeah, got to know who's playing. Good work, Matthew. Good work, Tom, as always. Thanks to all of you who listen to the program. Enjoy the game if you're going today, or if you're at home, have fun with your friends and family. Enjoy it. Go Noles, as always. We'll talk to you next time.